Uh, Theoretical, subjective, and what's the big one? The big one is empirical. Empirical probabilities. An empirical probability is observed, and or you might say experimental probability. So, for example, if you're going to test a new drug for a new drug treatment, um, that's that's an empirical probability or probability. We have to measure that through going out and sampling. We can't determine that in advance by any kind of means. We have to go out and measure it and literally estimate it. So actually this course deals primarily with the empirical probabilities. And occasionally we talk about theoretical, but normally in the sense that it's been predetermined. For example, if you're doing quality control in a business, and you might determine that, okay, it's okay for 1% of these products to be defective. So that's a preset theoretical probability, and then we measure the results against that probability. And so that would be something that would be involved a theoretical probability. The third kind of probability is called the subjective probability, and it's one kind of based upon experience or reckoning, but not based upon science or anything else observed. Um, for example, whenever you cross the street, you are making a subjective probability calculation that there's a 100% probability that you're going to cross the street. And otherwise, why would you cross the street if there's a chance of being hit? Now we know that 100% probability is not quite right, is it? Because there are people who do get hit by cars. But meteorology is a science that they have attempted, and they can calculate things meteorologically by using physics, mathematics, all kinds of very heavy-duty equations. But ultimately, they can't get enough data, gather enough data to make precise calculations. So a lot of meteorology is subjective probabilities. And now they don't do this so much anymore, but when I was a kid, the TV weathermen usually gave us a prediction on the rain. Like, for example, 30% chance of rain tomorrow. That's a subjective probability. In other words, he's looking at a pattern, and based upon his experience, he thinks, that looks like 30%. All right. My favorite subjective probability was some years back. We launched a satellite toward the planet Jupiter. I think it was called the Galileo probe. I may have this wrong, but anyway, it was a probe we sent to Jupiter, and when it got close to Jupiter, it ran into the atmosphere, slowed down, and released a portion of the satellite that would sink into the atmosphere. And it did. It sank into the atmosphere. It let out a parachute, and it went from 100,000 miles per hour down to 500 miles per hour in a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes. And then it sank into the atmosphere of Jupiter, sending radio signals up to the other part of the satellite, which got radioed back to Earth, and we got to figure out what's in the atmosphere of Jupiter. Anyway, here's my point. When they sent this thing out here, as it was getting close to Jupiter, the news media kept hounding these engineers at NASA. Well, what are the odds of this thing making it? And I guess someone said, well, 99% chance this is going to work. And so, how would he know? Okay, but that experiment has never been done before, and there's no way to calculate that probability. I think he just gave him a number, and thankfully he was right. It did work. So, anyway, back to probability. What's the zero probability? Well, the probability that the sun will not rise tomorrow, I'd say is 0. 0%. It will rise tomorrow. Or you might say that the probability the sun will rise is 100%. 100% chance that the sun will rise tomorrow. If it doesn't, it won't matter, will it? We're in big trouble. So, anyway, so zero probability means it's not going to happen. It's like saying, what's the probability that I can go out and run a mile in 3 minutes. Well, no one has come even close to running a mile in 3 minutes. I'm certainly not. That probability is 0. And so that's a certainty that's not going to happen. But you can't get below 0% probability, and you can't get above 100%. All right, some more, a little more terminology here. The page 14, a variable is a characteristic or a trait or an attribute that can take on 2 or more possible values. Oops, I have a telephone call. Let me pause the video speak and do some calculation.